The SUP Foil Year 2024 is in the books and we are trying to make sense of it all. It's been a big year for the stand-up magazine, starting off in January at the boat show, also painfully realizing that our industry is still going through a COVID hangover, I want to call it. We still have to deal with supply chain issues and particularly overstock, which has led, for me sadly, to the situation that I was only able to make one magazine this year, but possibly one of the best magazines. I finally, after 14 years in the business, got the opportunity to have an interview with the godfather of it all, Mr. Laird Hamilton. It was really cool. On this note, a shout out to Jimmy Lewis, who actually made that happen for me. That was really cool, and I got to go to Kauai and was invited to the Hamilton's house and got to do an interview. We did a video on it on YouTube, and we have an elaborate interview in print, which will be released later on next year into spring, once the print magazine hype kind of subsided, so to speak. So that was really stoked for me, really one of the highlights, making that magazine. We had to push it out into midsummer just for scheduling reasons, but the SUP year in general was actually pretty busy. The amount of events in SUP are actually mind-boggling. Every weekend on average probably 2 SUP races with people paddling somewhere somehow, and despite of it all, our industry is struggling with sales. Everybody that is on the wing and foil end, they are really progressing a lot. We've seen so much progression in wing and foiling and explosion in participation numbers. The seemingly extremely difficult downwind foiling has grown in participation numbers like mad. You should see our videos from the M2M and the M2O. It was like insane. In Hawaii, where SUP pretty much died off, it felt like, thanks to the wing foiling and the downwind SUP foiling, that we have the same kind of excitement like we had back in 2008, 2010, 12, when SUP just started and everybody was downwinding. That's what's happening in foiling, and it's spilling over into Europe, into foil festivals all over the place, which is really cool to see. And it is also going to be very interesting to see whether the foil sport somehow is going to be able to follow suit into SUP sport and other sports. While the foil sport, it's a little bit more complicated than SUP, because evidently in foil we see also a lot of regatta sailing, like the Olympic push is there for regatta foil sailing, and then we have a GWA, which is more of a freestyle wave action kind of sports tour. So this is going to be really interesting to see. The problem in 2024, I feel really accelerated or amplified more, is that we have no structure in our sport. We have races all over the place, and that led to overlapping race dates, which is not good with races where you have big prize money. So this is definitely something that was a topic and continues to be a topic as we're all putting together our race calendars for 2025. Then, of course, one big highlight this year was the ICF SUP World Championships in Sarasota. You guys can watch all the videos on that on my YouTube channel. So that was a real cool event. I got to go. I haven't been at an event in a long time like this. Also was a painful reminder of the state that our sport and industry is in. We are just looking at very little money. Most athletes are self-funded. Sponsors just don't have the budgets to really nurture big SUP teams and athletes, particularly when it comes to travel expenses and so forth. And I've talked to so many people and we had so many interviews, and it's just a problem. And we could also go on into a podcast on how to fix this problem. What can be done about it? Are we marketing our sport correctly? Are our webcasts and our live casts good enough? Are we attracting young people? in all honesty, to me, over the last few years, it just feels like our sport is getting a little bit overaged. The people who participate in it are the people that can afford the sport, 40 years and up. People with jobs who have the money to buy a $2,500 board. They have the money to go travel to a cool event. They're all stoked in participating in big events. But for the young people, it really is on to the parents how much money you're going to throw into this. And of course, it's a hard decision because evidently there is no money to be earned back. So your return on investment is really little to none. And eventually we will have to fix this problem the one way or the other. I have always been a big proponent of a real SUP tour, which, oh, by the way, yes, whatever happened to the APP? We saw one exhibition event in India, we saw the Busan Open, and we saw the Gran Canaria Pro-Am SUP Surfing World Championships this year, and then that was it. So I'm really wondering what's happening with the APP, if anything at all. So you guys see, it was not an easy year. Same thing, Euro Tour, I counted less races in the Euro Tour than in 2023. So even there, we are struggling with the financial support through all genres and through all aspects of our sport. Wing foiling is growing, but there are also challenges, and I just hate to say there is a little bit of an overproduction, and 2024 really showed that 2024 was a year of a little bit of a consolidation, and it's really hard to say how far this is going to go in 2025. I'm going to be in January at the boat show, and we will take a close look. It will be also very questionable whether I'm going to be able to even print another magazine, because there is just signals that I'm getting, you guys out there from the industry, are not all green light. There are still struggles, and companies are rebalancing their budgets after this difficult 2024 year. So that's it for the moment. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next one.